The internet was once a happy, peaceful place until one day a powerful secret criminal organization took over. This vicious syndicate soon had control of anime and even video games. The internet has become a center of otakus and weeaboos, where no one is safe. Amid this turmoil, a group of determined young nerds has shown to clean up the interweb. Among them are Kadawfi Crush, Liquid Gold Steve, and MattMatt. They are willing to risk anything, even their lives, on the Fighting Couch Potatoes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fighting Couch Potatoes. I'm MattMatt. I'm joined by my other nerds, Liquid Gold Steve.
What's up, man?
And Kadawfi Crush.
Power slide.
As you can tell, if you know what you know, we're talking about the Streets of Rage today. Not just one of them, all four of them. Because they're basically the same game. The game changes from each one, the story and kind of the way it works. Like, the first one didn't have juggling and it was basically bare bones, but we'll get through it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if we're going to start this, we're going to start this right. Kadawfi.
What's happening?
What's the first Streets of Rage game you ever played?
Part 2. Streets of Rage Part 2.
On the Genesis, right?
On the Sega Genesis.
Right.
Yeah, that's the first one I got to play. Streets of Rage Part 2, man, that brings back a lot of memories, bro. I mean, 6 years old, waking up in the morning, I was either watching a Goofy movie, D2 the Mighty Ducks, or beating the shit out of Streets of Rage.
Was that a rental, or did you own it?
Oh, no, I own that one. My sister broke that Sega Genesis, though.
How the hell? Oh,
she was a year old and had a walker. That's all we needed.
Liquid Gold?
Streets of Rage 4. Thought it was a great fucking game. Wanted to play the old ones, so I got to it. And Floyd's my favorite, but Max Thunder is always going to be my favorite because of Power Slide.
Good God, yeah, we played through all of them together. Or no, 4. Sorry.
Yeah.
I started. To be honest with you, I actually started on. They used to sell. Not nowadays. They sell the Sega Genesis Mini, right? Mm-hmm. Like officially. But back in the day when they didn't give a fuck, and they sold them in like dollar stores, they used to sell like the old gaming systems that had like 15,000 games on it.
Yeah.
I was able to get 1 through 3 on that with my cousin and played through them a little bit. I never beat them, but like that was my first introduction to that.
That's like one of the ones you plug into the TV,
right? Straight into there,
yeah. And then just you got the little joystick and you can just roll with it. Yeah.
Which it was really fun, but like the first one that I really got into for real was Streets of Rage 4, and I mean that is just a masterpiece of a game. Exactly, like
beautiful game.
I want another one.
Great.
Well, yeah, that's what's really cool about the fourth one is like you have the story going on the fourth one. You know, you got Axel, Blaze, you got Floyd, and you got Cherry, Adam's daughter. And as you go through the game, you unlock more people. Like, you unlock Adam straight through the story, but the more you play, the better you do.
And Estelle. Don't forget about Beast-ass Estelle. Yeah. But I'm going to get to her later, because that's motherfucker right now.
But, yeah, as you go through, like, you unlock points, and then you can unlock older characters from the series. You know, you get Streets of Rage 1, Adam, Alex, and Blaze, and so on and so forth. You get fucking... Hey, we cannot talk about Streets of Rage without bringing up Skate. Skate broke Streets of Rage 2.
Skate was a monster in Streets of Rage 2. I always played with either Axel or Blaze. My aunt would play with Skate.
Right.
I mean, she'd always pick him before I could. I never really got to play with him, but that little dude right there, I mean, how many people go monkey climb to the back of your head and just start pounding that shit in? Just beating your fucking head in.
But it was really cool because like you had Streets 1 where you had only 3 characters, right? Mm-hmm. And all of them had the same, like they all played different, obviously, but they all basically had the same moves. They had the same German suplex. But like,
I don't know about how they played this. They played the same.
They all had separate shit, like special moves. Yeah, but they all played the same because it was one single like what's the word for it? Sprite. But they all had different things colored on.
The sprites were kind of the same, but like Blaze had a completely different moveset than Adam and Axel. Adam and Axel were extremely similar.
Yeah,
as far as their play style, but like even
Axel
then,
really Axel used a lot
more like karate, whereas Well, fucking Adam gave you them hands.
Yeah, Adam's a kickboxer.
Because he's a boxer.
He gave you them hands.
And I learned that Blaze couldn't even lift up people.
Yep.
She would actually take damage from big guys if she would lift them up.
Oh, no shit. I never noticed that. But yeah, it was like they had Streets 1, it's kind of bare bones, you had your thing, but then you had Streets of Rage 2. They dropped Adam Hunter. They brought in Max Thunder.
They didn't drop him.
No, they dropped Adam Hunter until Streets 4.
They didn't drop that nigga.
He got kidnapped by Mr. X.
he got
know what I mean.
That's why Eddie, Eddie Skate Hunter came in that thing.
That's kind of how the story rolls. Is like with part 1, I mean, we have a whole story to go there where we got 3 ex-cops just getting sick and tired of their town being taken over by this criminal organization. You know, being held down by Mr. X and friends. And, I mean, just essentially, they just got up one day and said, man, fuck this. And the 3 of them went out there handling business. I mean, they had some of their cop buddies to help them out because they would always, like, something in Streets of Rage to, like, clear a screen. You would call, like, you would call your friends in, I guess, like, calling your cop buddies on the radio. And they come drive up in the cop car and then, like, fucking rocket launchers. Yeah. And it's like, damn, like, was that necessary? But
that rocket launcher was nice because, man, I used to use on bosses and that shit take half their life. It was fun.
Out here dropping mortar shells on people and shit.
Killed the whole screen.
It's because they all had that same move.
Yeah, in the first one.
And the second one,
different.
they started moving along.
That was really the only thing they really even shared was that cop thing and the German suplexes. Because like even Blaze, like she came through with a bunch of different kick maneuvers, and she was supposed to be based off judo. I never really saw that. I never really saw that with Blaze.
She had speed though. Like she had an assload of speed.
Extreme speed.
Speed and jumping was her thing, and damn. I felt like this when I played Blaze. It was kind of more like playing Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, like it was real fast. You're not going to hit them hard, but you're going to get into a bunch of people. You're going to get them good and worn out. Yeah, Axel. He was kind of in the middle. He was speed, but he still had some power. But when you played Adam,
but Axel couldn't jump.
He could jump. When I played Axel,
he couldn't jump like Adam and like Blaze could.
Hey, Axel's knee though,
but that knee
was nice,
vicious.
I used to love that sound Axel would make. I'd never even tried it in real life, but like that shit sound like you screaming through static. I always loved that shit.
But Adam with his boxing and his kickboxing, that man, I would not want to fuck with him on the streets.
What makes me mad is like you had a really good character and obviously was a part of the story, but like why couldn't you? And this is back in the day, so like it shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? Why couldn't you just bring that character back in 2, which is why I really like, or 3 for that matter, which is why I really like Streets of Rage 4. You know, they brought him back, and I mean, like, y'all remember when Adam showed up. Adam's the only guy in the whole thing who can, you know, dodge behind somebody, put him in a lock, and throw him over his head. Like, Adam was vicious in Streets 4.
In part 4,
they kind of walked into a thing with the story. The second one and the third one. He couldn't do it because he was a cop in the third one. The second one was because he got kidnapped by Mr. X. Mm-hmm. I get if he was a playable character after the story, which I can see what MattMatt's saying, but it's still, it's 92, man. They ain't...
Yeah, I mean,
but they gave you the kangaroo instead, so I guess it'll.
Well, I mean, that was in the third one.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That was in the third one. I mean, like, back at the first one, like after we decided to go through, beat everybody's ass, take down Mr. X. You know, I think the Streets of Rage characters live for like a year.
Yeah, it's a year.
They get like a full year peacefully, which is kind of like what we got at home as the players of the console. Mm-hmm. You know, but I'm gonna back this up just a minute. One of the cool things about about Streets of Rage, which makes it really stand out, because at the time you had things like Double Dragon, you still could play, you know, those Kuni Neo games like River City Ransom. And you could still play stuff like that. But I mean, moving on into the better generations of consoles, the newer generations.
Around that time, you had Golden Axe, right?
You had Golden Axe was around. You had a lot of beat 'em ups. What really made Streets of Rage stand out is the fact that Final Fight exists. Mm-hmm. And Final Fight, they had their chance at the arcade and people loved it, you know, blah, blah, blah. But then Capcom and friends screwed the pooch when they ported it over to Super Nintendo. So Final Fight was another beat 'em up game, much like Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage took a lot of inspiration from it. But what made Streets of Rage better, especially when you got it home, was you had the 2-player compatibility. Right. With that was because the type of system that the arcades were using at the time, they were using cartridge-based arcade systems. Mm-hmm. And the Streets of Rage was developed specifically for the type of like the Sega Mega Drive, Master Drive, whatever the fuck that arcade system
Mega
was
Drive.
called.
No, the Mega Drive was
the console.
Was the console.
Was the home console.
It's statistics.
It might have been.
semantics.
It might have been the Mega Drive or the Master Drive or the whatever the fuck. It was the arcade one where the arcade owner, the cabinet owner, would go in and just slap fucking console games into it, and you would pick and choose to play from there. That was the beauty of Streets of Rage, because it played just like it did at the arcade.
Right.
Dude was literally just snatching the cartridge out and packaging the motherfucker up and sending it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, so when you got it at home, it was the same game.
I really think Streets of Rage is a great multiplayer game more than an actual single player game, because even fighting the enemies, they kind of crowd you too much as a single player if you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
It's a lot of fun to jump the bosses too. There's just something about it.
About handling a boss.
Exactly.
I mean, bosses, I like how they don't just let you just straight beat on everybody that's there.
Right.
People have counterattacks available to hurt you back.
I really feel like honestly, other than the bosses, to me, one didn't like. Well, I played 4, so it's already crisp and clean.
Right.
So the one, it didn't really it didn't have no problem. Like, they changed it up into, I might be talking about more of the enemies. Like, the enemies didn't really give me any challenge. Like, the small enemies didn't really give me a challenge. I felt like it was more like
in the first one?
It felt like more like a training dummy.
Yeah, on the
to
first
get to the
one,
boss.
you was just kind of like just bodies to get through to get to the boss.
Right.
But I mean, the fun of it was, well, one, I could play with my buddy at home finally. Except, I mean, Final Fight, gosh, I mean, they really dropped the ball with that one, which, like I said earlier, Streets of Rage took a lot of influence from Final Fight, like the character design, the stage designs, even kind of like the idea of what we were doing, going through a raggedy fucking city and defeating the boss to get back whatever we're getting back in this case. In this case with Streets of Rage, it was to clear the city back up.
Yeah, eating turkeys out of trash cans and
turkeys
shit.
out of trash cans.
I've never really played a beat 'em up until really Streets of Rage. Other than like if I played Yakuza, but it's really like a big beat 'em up.
The Yakuza 3D beat 'em up.
I still liked how
RPG 3D
like there was
up.
weapons and there was fucking food and cash in the trash cans. Like they were like you could see they're not part of the aesthetic, but when you hit them, it's like shit pops out. Like you get a bottle, a knife.
That was probably one of my favorite parts. I mean, any beat 'em up I've ever played, if I could pick up a weapon and beat somebody in the head with a crowbar or a knife or if I could throw a trash can at you, I will.
All right.
What, River City Ransom?
when you played Kadawfi, when you played Streets of Rage, the first one, what was like the main character that you really kind of dedicated to?
I still stuck with Axel because I had played Streets of Rage Part 2 first.
Mm-hmm.
And Axel was what I was like. Honestly, I was hoping to do that damn fire uppercut, but he ain't have it.
Yeah, the second one. And second one got you.
I remember getting my ass kicked in the first. My cousins and I, we were in Texas, and somebody had brought the shit out. Somebody had a collection pack that had Golden Axe and shit on it, and I was like, "Oh man, watch this!" Don't. My cousin was over here. Don't let people get behind you. I was like, "Don't worry, Axel got that backhand." Axel didn't have that backhand.
Did not have that backhand.
Where my backhand at?
I was off them sticks real fast. I remember being mad about Street of Rage Part 1 when I was little. I mean, as I got older, I mean, it's like, damn, what a great game. Like, they didn't have to give you what they gave you in the next series, the next part of the series. Like, they could have just kind of left that shit alone.
What kind of, to be honest, like, this is about the story, really. I didn't, like, know about the non-canon endings. Like, I thought, like,
I never. What is the non-canon ending?
Go ahead,
Well,
Steve.
I'll explain the non-canon. I'm going to explain the reason. It's like, being in 91, like it's going to be an arcade kind of game. I would think there would only be like one kind of ending.
Yeah.
You would not have like these other ending. Well, this other ending. The non-canon ending only happens when you're a multiplayer.
Yeah.
You have to, one of the people that you play, either one or two player, has to pick the side of Mr. X.
When you get to Mr. X, like the final boss, he gives y'all the choice. Like he straight asks you, like, you want to be a fuck up person or you want to be a hero? Mm-hmm. And if you're playing multiplayer, 2-player, if one person decides yay and one person decides nay,
you guys got to fight.
You have to fight it out,
and then you fight Mr. X.
And then once you win, I think doesn't it send you back to level 6?
Hold on, if the good guy wins, I don't know, but if the bad guy wins, he fights Mr. X. and then he wins. He becomes the leader of the syndicate.
He takes over the city.
Takes over everything. I mean, it's kind of cool too because they have one for each character. Like Blaze sitting in the chair bigger than she is, you know. And then you get Adam and Axel sitting, and it's like they kind of fit that motif pretty well. But I mean, even then, if you remember how big Mr. X was compared to your characters, that dude was like 10 foot fucking tall. Yeah. Dude was huge, but like. It's kind of cool that there's always been a game that you've always wanted to like just be the bad guy in once in a while. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I remember Team Rocket asked you in Pokemon. They was like, "Hey, you want to join Team Rocket?" They wouldn't let you say yeah. And I was like, damn it.
Why give me the option, man?
Like, bro, I'd be stealing the shit out of people's Pokemon. But like, I think that would have been cool to maybe incorporate like another mode to that. Like, say if you were playing multiplayer and you chose to go on ahead and be the villain, maybe it was Adam who decided to be the villain. Next time you boot the shit up, you play with Axel and Blaze, you don't get the option for Adam. At the end, you get to fight Adam. That'd be cool as shit. But again, we were on the Mega Drive.
Yeah, Genesis.
You know what I'm saying? We weren't using save states or the Master System. We weren't on the Mega Drive yet. The Master System for Part 1, I think. No, it was Genesis. I'm wrong. I'm all kinds of wrong. It was Genesis.
I still play Axel Stone on that motherfucker. I think he was sweet as fuck. I think he had the sweetest moves. He was slick as hell.
Axel kind of fought like a Street Fighter character.
I played Blaze.
Almost.
I played Blaze.
A little bit. Like it was...
Not in the first one he didn't. He fought just like Cody did. I mean, she looked like Cody from Final Fight.
Yeah.
The blonde hair, white t-shirt, blue jeans.
But I mean, like later on when they got their own personalities, basically
once they started becoming better, for sure. Who did you like to main with, Steve, in Streets of Rage 1?
It'd be Axel. Like, I played Blaze. I didn't touch Adam as much as I wanted to, but did I say Axel or Adam?
You said Axel.
Axel.
The person that you like to play.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I said Adam Hunter.
Bunch of A's.
A, B, A. Hey, I still. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. No, I think Axel Stone has like they have the same kind of move, not move list, but they still have the 3 combo. They have the grab and everything, but I feel like he moved through a room quicker, faster, efficient. And got out of there, didn't have to take too much damage, and could get to the boss as quickly as possible. And I didn't think he took really as much damage as I thought he took to the other characters, to a boss. The bosses weren't really that hard hitting, honestly. To me, they didn't really hit that hard. And like 4, they fucking just smash.
Oh, yeah. Matt, did you ever actually get to play Part 1 very much?
I have Part 1 on my phone. I played a little bit of it. I kind of got... No, it's hard to do the mobile shit. Yeah, it really is. But Part 2, I played on Switch Online.
Hold on, we're on the first one.
So I'm just saying.
With Part 1, did you
Adam?
I know you liked Adam a lot in the 4th one. Like, was he as compared? What was the comparison like from what you know to what you got to play with in Part 1?
So like. I did play 4 first, but I went back and played Part 1. And, like, there was just something about... Because he, like y'all was saying, Axel couldn't jump as high, right? And Adam had that front fucking kick that would just be knocking motherfuckers back. It didn't matter if it was Dominic Toretto. That's what we call Donovan. For everybody who doesn't know, he looks like Dom. Don't add us. Just saying. I mean, he looks like family.
Looks like he straight came out of Pitch Black. I mean...
But yeah, he was...
I don't think we had Dom in the first one.
Yeah, it's the same Galasia, Y Signal, all of them. Like it's all the same thing.
Galasia do the red hair, and the little.
Well, I know.
I know holding the knife.
That's the very first person you see.
Right? He be running up to you like he's going to do something, and he gets kicked in his shit.
Bro, I love that animation because like when he stabbed you though, when he does get you with that knife, because he comes through with the hunchback, and you just kind of like, what's wrong with that guy? And next thing you know, you stabbed.
I don't know what you guys talking about because the first one he was like this like the whole time. He would never like swing. And the second one first started off like this, but the first one he was like this.
You're right.
He was like he looked like Michael Myers. I was like the second one he was ready to start stabbing.
Because I'm gonna get you in the gut this time.
I've learned from my mistakes. But the first one's kind of, like I said, it's kind of bare bones. Like it's got its story going on and it's got all of its enemies and everything. But after a while, it kind of gets repetitive. like you get through the first couple levels and all right, cool, I got this and this, beat this boss, and then it's like, again, I gotta deal with this shit.
Nah,
all right, hold on.
I disagree with you.
Hold on. The bosses were different because like the bosses had different kind of styles to them.
Obviously they had
but they didn't have names. That's the only thing to me. It's like
none of the characters had names except for your main characters.
Yeah, main characters. Yeah, like, Mr. X and the 3 main X-Cops. That was it.
It's only people who actually had names. And I mean, like, playing part 1, I could imagine if that was my first experience with it. I mean, it's probably the greatest fucking game on the planet.
Oh yeah, if it's like your first thing, but if you played the 4th one compared to like you're playing 2020 to 1991. It's it's going to be different.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can just imagine like being your first time playing a Streets of Rage game. That's probably the super shit. I mean, we keep calling it bare bones, but I mean, for what it was back then, I mean, that was
definitely. I'm not saying that at all.
No, I mean, compared to today's standards, yeah, absolutely bare bones. I mean, there's no extra modes,
but it still holds up today,
and it holds up very well. I mean, still a game that you boys have had a week to beat it, and y'all haven't. That's a very good game. Is what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? It's one that can hold your attention, especially if you're looking for that challenge of, can I get through this next fight without taking much damage or losing a life?
Yeah.
But Mr. Matt, what's our story for the second one?
The story?
Yeah. How do we kick that off? Because like once we whoop Mr. X's ass, they give us a year to let the next story unfold. So like, or actually, Liquid Gold Steve, do you happen to know the story for the second one?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
All right. So they beat Mr. X in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's happy, joy, and everything. Well, they go off on their separate ways. Blaze Fielding becomes a dance instructor.
Mm-hmm.
Axel Stone becomes a bodyguard. And then Adam Hunter goes back to being a cop because he was like, man, they finally took all the damn bad shit out. I'll become a cop. Trying to clean up the streets.
Quick note. Why is it on the bare knuckle cover, Axel Stone looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Well, I mean, who was popular then?
He looked just like him.
who was roundhouse kicking?
Yeah, man.
Matter of fact, wasn't Bloodsport made in 90, 92, 91?
Oh, I can't remember.
Everyone fact check us.
Fact check us. Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme now.
I'm not looking it up, but somebody fact check us. But Steve, go ahead with the story.
Right. Well, they do this thing. We're going to join each other back up to celebrate 1 year of cleaning out the streets.
Right.
88, by the way.
Axel Stone gets a call from Eddie Skate Hunter, Adam Hunter's son.
Or Sammy in Japan.
Now, why did they call him Sammy? Do y'all know?
The hell if I know.
Oh, shit.
I just thought that was...
No, there's, to be honest, how much I've learned,
learned
and everything.
Skating's not allowed.
There's a whole bunch of different names in the Japanese version.
For everybody.
And especially in the third one, but we'll get to that. The second one, Axel Stone gets a call from Skate, says, "Hey man, my house is trashed and my dad's gone."
Brother.
What?
His brother, yeah, because Skate's his brother.
Skate's his brother.
Skate is his brother. Cherry is Adam's daughter.
I thought it was his son.
No, it's his
Skate's
brother.
His brother. His little brother.
All right, continuing on. Gets a call, says, "Hey man, my shit, my brother's gone." Axel rolls up, calls his homeboy Max Thunder.
Oh yeah.
To help him out. And Blaze Fielding comes to the streets and they
Hold on. Pro wrestler. Max Thunder. Let's make sure you know what he can. I mean, when you say Skate, I think you know he got some rollerblades on his feet just off bat. But Max Thunder?
I would think me getting all loud and shit would make you think that motherfucker.
You just never might have been a really cool boxer.
But so they get back to the house. They try to figure it out. There's a picture there with Adam Hunter in chains and Mr. X in the picture. So now they got to save Adam Hunter.
And Mr. X came back with a vengeance. I mean, like, I'm gonna stop you right there for a second. Like you just finished like with the synopsis of what's beginning our story. You know, you would think they'd have been prepared for it because I mean, like, let's be legit. You break into a millionaire's house, whoop his ass. Does that stop him from being a millionaire?
Well, I was gonna ask the question. I was gonna ask the question before we got to the next one. Like, did they kill anybody, or they just whoop their ass so much they ain't moving?
I think they just beat the shit. I think everybody was going to jail. I mean, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I think they was being... Because that they was taking back the streets is what was going on.
Right. I mean, but like, you whoop a millionaire's ass. Does that stop him from being a millionaire? They should have expected some retaliation. That was kind of their fault.
They thought they handed his ass, and they were like, "Oh, he's not going to do that shit again." A year later,
motherfuckers back a year later and snatched up Adam's bitch ass. It was like, "Yeah, run tell that bitch."
so now your choices of characters, honestly, is Axel Stone, Blaze Fielding, Skate, and Max Thunder.
Max Thunder.
Which they all was I can't remember
one of my
first
favorites.
One. It's been a while since I tried playing the first one.
Can I say it? Power slide.
Shut up. God.
Power slide.
We'll get to that. There's a reason we're saying that.
Because Max does a fucking power slide.
I can't remember, but in the first one, did they all had individual stats, right?
Yeah, they
because they had the stars next to the different.
No, but the first one it was just like a grading system.
Right.
Okay.
The second one
had the stats.
They had like a stat menu, or stat screen when you pick them.
Axel Stone was actually very balanced. He was. I
think that's the point with Axel is he's supposed to be the middleman.
Yeah, he's supposed to be your Mario. You're right. And now this one here, part 2, they took a lot of initiative from Street Fighter 2. This is just like with the first one, they bought an arcade cabinet. They bought the arcade cabinet for Final Fight for the first one, bought the arcade cabinet for Street Fighter 2 for this one, and kind of studied into that one. They made the sprites a lot bigger. They take up more of the screen. The stages are so much more detailed. And I mean, hot damn, I'm not normally this guy, but fuck, the music in that thing.
We never really talked about the music, did we?
I don't really remember the music from the first one that much, but the second one, dude, I still remember the menu screen.
Yeah,
you know, like when you get ready to pick, and it's like that.
I gotta be honest with you. Then you made the producer of the first one mad because it was the same one as the second one.
I mean, look, bro, that second one, I still dream about it. I still dream about it.
Well, you can at least now talk about. You can at least talk about Axel's big ass uppercut now.
Yeah, I mean,
oh man, are you talking about the spinning one or
I'll go ahead and go with it. Axel Stone, he was my guy in the second one. I've already mentioned that. In the second one, all the characters, if you press forward, attack, they'll do a special maneuver,
which was new in that one,
which was brand new in that one, and
because it's called a blitz attack.
A blitz attack, right, and like with that, I mean, everybody had like a walking pace except Skate. Skate had a skating,
a dash. Yeah. It was almost a dash.
He could dash almost always. Skate was the fastest by any stretch of imagination, but the special moves that everybody got. What?
No stamina, though. He had absolutely no stamina.
No. I mean, you punch that kid and he's like a feather. Yeah. But he was like, what, like 15 16? Something like that.
But by the time you try to hit him, he's on top of your shoulders, beating your temple in.
But back to Axel. Forward punch with Axel gives you a this uppercut where he drags his knuckles to the ground and brings up fire. It's, dude's got leather gloves on, but he drags his knuckle to the street and brings up fire. He punches motherfuckers across the screen with such a move. Then they have like other attacks in that game where like I was saying earlier, the back attack where you could just throw a back fist back to keep people off your ass. And then Axel has the big move. The one that if you hit the C button, it'll take some of your life, but it'll also clear the area just in your immediate vicinity. With Axel, it's like a fucking flaming dragon coming around his body.
Well, no, he does
his
that.
Arm.
He does that, and he also has another special move because all the characters he has the beatdown.
He has the beatdown special move. Yeah, I wasn't done. He has the other special move, which I think that one I've usually only ever done that one during a grab. I can't think of another time I've triggered it without being in a grab, but I'm sure you can trigger it.
It was a lot of fun when you
that beatdown special move. He would throw it's like 4 uppercuts real quick, real fast, and then just one really big, just booyah, kind of a flaming uppercut. It felt real reminiscent of doing punch. Fucking sure you can. It felt real reminiscent of that. I mean, you just send people flying with that shit. Who did you main with MattMatt and Streets of Rage 2?
Well, I played Skate a lot. Because I like...
So that flying headbutt was one of your favorites.
That flying hell, oh my God.
Hey, I saw that. Hey, I played...
People want to come across the screen if they want to. That headbutt's coming towards them. That and the... I can't remember if he does... Was it either it wasn't the spinning move because he does that in 4.
Oh no, he's got that spinning. He's got a windmill. He certainly has.
But he
windmill.
also does or I'm not talking about where he rolls. I'm talking about where
he's on his back spinning.
Yeah, spinning. Yeah.
It's the windmill.
That move right there.
He does a windmill, and that shit'll clear motherfuckers out.
All they call that is a spinning attack, but it's breakdancing. That's all he's doing.
He's breakdancing on people
for sure. I mean, out there, in his rollerblades. That shit just always seemed ridiculous to me.
I bet he got speed on that bitch though.
Like, bro, you would just think somebody drop a stick in front of him. I mean,
hey man, hold on. You had to have like at least a decent stick on that motherfucker to do that.
It don't take much to stop motherfuckers on rollerblades. I don't know if you've ever been rollerblading before, but a pebble will ruin your day.
I've seen a bunch of enough of Big Daddy to see that shit.
A pebble will ruin your damn day. But Steve, who did you main with?
Who
else do you think it is?
Steve, who did you main with and why?
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen of the court, we're going to explain this. The 4th one showed me how great Max Thunder was. Then I saw that he started in 2, so I had to see how great he was. He was already great back then. He just made himself better in the 4th one. And everyone will know. Everybody knows in this room right now. My favorite move is power slide.
Power slide.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What is the power slide? So we can finally tell them, though.
All right. So you do a crouch, and then you press the attack button, and he does like a baseball slide. And he could take out 3 or 4 people. Like, man, you could do it constantly. Like, it's one of them moves, man.
Over and over.
I took a whole room out like that.
So, you know how I told you.
Hold on, I ain't done yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, my fault.
I ain't done yet.
Go ahead.
You got the power slide.
Man,
because I got something for you about the power slide.
Okay.
I got something.
He got the spinning knuckle bomb where he kind of like that's the
double
back
axe handle.
That's the back away with Skate's breakdancing.
Right.
He got that thunder tackle where he just like throws his big ass at you.
Motherfucker take up half the screen and shit.
Then he got the bear hug, and then that thunder body slam where he throws him to the ground. Like, hey, in the 4th one they put electric on that shit. They didn't need to do it. They didn't need to do that.
It was when he did in the 4th one. When he did that slam, it was more like a what the hell is it called? Where he picks him up and he like turns back, you know? Because like in that one he was slamming people straight down, but in the 4th one it was almost like he was what the hell's that move? Almost like a Russian's leg sweep, but not.
No,
like a cradle slam, something like that.
I
know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, but it's more like he's like a brain buster, like a modified brain buster.
Like that go on brain buster.
I was about to talk about that shit. I thought that was the best part.
We'll see that back in a minute, but or another day. But the power slide. So like, because y'all haven't really played Street Fighter 2 before, M. Bison has that very same move. Down, kick. And he does a power slide across the screen. Now, imagine being on a 2D screen fighting an overpowered bastard like that with a power slide.
That sounds awful.
It's horrible. He's got this Psycho Crusher. It doesn't matter. But,
I didn't know this was Shiva's first game. He's not playable, but I didn't know Shiva's first game.
Was he in 2?
And Bourbon.
Yeah.
Bourbon? Oh my
Shiva was
God.
nice in part 2. Like, this is one of the things I like the most about part 2 is the my favorite villain in the whole game. Favorite bad guy sprite, I guess, is I call him the Chaw Man. Anybody who's ever played part 2, they know about that Chaw.
Man, what gets me about that, like, I know who you're talking about, is the reach on those characters. Because sometimes you want to get up close on these people because, like, here's the thing about Streets that, like, I was having a problem with when I first started, and this is in 4, was you have to be right up on these people to hit them, all damn near headbutting them.
I mean,
right?
You need to be close for a fight.
Close combat.
Yeah. Which is really cool. It's like if you get close enough, you can grab them, whatever, and slam them. But like you was talking about the Chaw Man, the Chaw Man will hit you in your chest before you even walk over to his area.
Yeah. The Chaw Man teaches you early quit walking and quit jumping.
Yeah.
Now how you gonna hit me?
Get behind him is how you gonna hit him.
That's all you can
hit him with a suplex.
Now talking about the second one, like compared to the first one, there's a few things I gotta say. Like, I feel like the first one was bare bones. Like, it's actually bare bones. I feel like they did a very big jump in the second one. I feel like it really got a big jump in the second one, even though it's only a year of development. I really believe they did a whole big thing. Like, you can throw knives in the second one. You couldn't throw knives in the first one.
You could throw knives. And
I couldn't figure out how to throw weapons in the second one.
Hey,
I think it's
press
punch
C.
and kick it. Is it just C?
It's just C.
Is it?
It's just C.
Oh no, it's the one. It's the one.
I thought it was punch and kick at the same time. No, it's the kick button.
You sure?
Because
I
kept trying, and like no matter what I did.
I was playing it today, and I had a knife in my hand, and I pressed the one button above the A button, and it damn threw it.
I was
Continuing
trying
on,
my ass off.
man. You got now you got a grenade now. Mm-hmm. You got a katana,
ninja stars.
kunai, ninja stars, shit like that. That's crazy to me.
Oh yeah.
Thank God they didn't give you the boomerang until.
I wish I'd had that boomerang.
They did take away the special tokens though. They gave you the 1-ups, but they didn't give you the special tokens in second one.
You didn't need them.
Yeah, if you get enough points, you just get more lives anyway.
Right, because the special tokens, weren't you using those to call your cop buddies?
Yeah,
you didn't need them. They weren't.
Yeah, I think they kind of got rid of the special moves and kind of gave you individual ones.
Because that was something they really wanted to focus on, was to make each character more individualized.
Yeah, which is more personality.
Which is really the reason why they took Adam away from us, is because Adam, going from one game to the next, it was going to be more complicated to just readjust Adam than it would be to just make a new character with a completely different moveset.
I don't know. Why would they take away Adam and then give you the fucking god Max Thunder like that?
Because Max Thunder don't fight like nobody else. They wanted you to, again, basing it off of Street Fighter 2, we have average character, Ryu. We have a speedy character with not that much power, Chun-Li, which Blaze does share that fireball with Chun-Li. If anybody knows anything about classic Street Fighter 2, Chun-Li had a really shitty fireball at first. It was really shitty. Blaze, on the other hand, has a really cool fireball coming right out of the palm of her hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they call that energy blast.
And even Blaze's, one of her slams, her judo slams, is exactly Chun-Li's slam. The one where she's forward at you and she just throws you straight to the ground. Mm-hmm. It's exactly Chun-Li's slam. They copied and pasted a little TT, but at the same time, they still were able to make it so wholly original, which is, again, what I was getting at, why they got rid of Adam. They wanted to have a character who was super speedy. Then we get Skate. They also wanted a character who was heavy and slow, which is why we get Max Thunder. Yeah. And then we get your two kind of basic fighting game-ish kind of characters, Blaze and Axel. So anybody could really get into that, because like you'd have to be kind of good at most games to play with Skate if you didn't know what you were doing at first, because again, Skate was light. He was like a glass cannon almost. Yeah. You thump the little fucker and he's over. Give me that damn hat.
Taking the skates.
Oh yeah. But I mean, even there, how far have y'all gotten into Streets of Rage 2?
Not at all.
Stage 5.
Stage 5. Which one was that? Stage 5 was at the carnival?
Well, no, I got to stage 5. I finished stage 4.
Was that the baseball field? Was that was that the ship? The pirate ship?
It was, the first one was the streets, then it was like some bridge. I remember a pirate ship. I think that's stage 3.
I think.
And then
stage 4 should have took you to like the place that looks like Alien.
Yeah, oh my god. Man, what the hell was that thing on the wall?
Stadiums 4, ships 5.
So as part of what was going on in part 2, so Mr. X didn't like just come back and say, fuck you. Mr. X has always been kind of involved in technology and robotics and stuff. And that thing on the back wall is part of his robotic stuff. Mm-hmm. The little tools and devices and stuff he has. Once you get further into the game, I think there's like a oil tanker level you have to get on. You got to fight like a barefoot kickboxer. Yeah. He's big and fat and he beats the shit out of you. That dude is so hard to beat. But once you get past him, you'll end up going through the ship, end up on the beach. When you're on the beach, you're going to the island that Mr. X lives on. Up there, towards his mansion, he starts to have these giant robots come at you. And these giant robots, they have like no arms, they just have legs. And you're kind of like, oh, okay, no big deal. Well, fuck you. Their arms are actually morning stars. And yeah, so morning stars attached to long chains. So they're beating your ass across the screen with these morning stars. And they're
so pretty much damn those things from Mario, the fuckers there on
the chain chomp.
Oh god,
the chain chomp. I mean, not exactly like that, because again, these are robots that are shaped like the T1, the T800, but they have morning stars for arms. And like you just see like. You see like a spiky shoulder, and you run up on him thinking, I'm going to kick his ass, and this motherfucker then clobbered you across the screen now. You're just like, wait a minute. And they're really hard to beat, too.
This reminds me of Chaw Man.
Chaw Man's super nice. And him and the fat guy with the fire. The fat guy.
Benjamin?
I used to call him the Hot Cheeto Man. Big Ben. I used to call him the Hot Cheeto Man. Because that motherfucker here.
He used some hot Cheetos.
He just blow big old fat man. I love them. But you also got to fight the other wrestler, the other pro wrestler, before you even get to Mr. X when you're in the baseball field stage. That was probably the boss fight that used to stump me the most when I was a kid. Was the pro wrestler. Because like you can't grab him. You punch him once or twice and he slaps the shit out of you. You got to like really take your time and be dainty with him, or he's gonna kill you. You can't even really jump him because once you get side to side, he has like a area clearing a slap. Also, he pulls both hands out and slaps the dog shit out of you.
God damn!
Yeah, he slaps the dog shit. Out of you.
That's a motherfucker right there, boy.
Yeah, I wish you could use him.
Now, from here on, we got Streets of Rage 3.
Streets of Rage 3.
Now, I'll be honest, I haven't played Streets of Rage 3 in a long time.
Same.
I think the last time I played it, this is the last time I played it. I played it 2 months ago when I went to my local flea market. They had it set up on the Sega Genesis, and right, I sat there and I played through like 2 levels. I was playing Skate because like Skate was the only one I really fucked with.
That game.
Well, it's really. All right, my bad.
This is also the first one where you had unlockable characters.
I was actually about to ask if we could catch the story on that as to what's going on. Why are we getting the Streets of Rage 3? Steve, you got that pulled up?
Well, I kind of do, but I was kind of more explaining that Streets of Rage 3 wasn't really highly acclaimed like the first 2.
Also, the answer was no.
Yes, I do have the story, Crush, so you can fuck off with that. But I was just going to explain that like they really didn't. No one really liked it because how much it got changed from like the Western to the Eastern, like the Japanese version to the American version. There's 2 different stories. Yeah. Like there's a lot in the American version. There is a lot cut out from the Japanese version.
Well, you got to remember that like back then we didn't exactly know that shit when we first got the game. You know, we didn't exactly know what was all because like we didn't have the internet,
right?
And like there weren't not like we were communicating with Japanese people daily and they're going, fuck that game. It's not like that's not exactly how that went down. It's just over time people discovered that something was missing. And I mean there's a lot missing in that game, like Ash, he's missing.
Yeah. So I want to explain the English version. Like, and I want to tell you the Japanese version, and it's like I'd rather have the Japanese version because it has like.
Well, can you kick us off with the story so we know why we're getting here, like why we're because like once we beat the shit out of Mr. X in the second one, we wreck his ass, fuck his island up, all that, and I think they just I think they killed him.
X?
Nope, I think they killed him.
Oh, quote unquote.
Because like.
He was a brain in the third one, right?
Well, see, now you spoiled it. See, now
spoilers for games that came out how long ago?
Now you've spoiled how we're telling the story.
And then 94, that's a spoiler, right?
How dare you?
All right, so
fucking spoilers to Gears 3.
The story.
Dom fucking died.
I've never played Gears 3. What the fuck, man?
We're about to have all these comments. I never played Gears 3.
God damn it, Matt. Fucking canceled.
We're canceling MattMatt today.
So, like, the English version is pretty much like the first 2, honestly. They beat up Mr. X. They think he learned his lesson. No, he didn't learn his lesson.
Fuck no, he didn't learn his lesson. He won the city.
So, he is working with, he got his syndicate, and he's got a corporation called RoboSci.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 2 doctors, one named Dr. Drum, or Dr. Dam. I want to say Dr. Dam, but it looks like Dr. Drum.
DAHM, Dom.
That's not Dom.
Dom.
It's more like Jam, but
Dr. Dam.
All right.
And then who else? And Dr. what?
And Dr. Zan.
Dr. Zan.
But Dr. Zan found out that Dam and Z or X. I fucking said Z.
Damn X.
Damn X. No, he they're kind of trying to make
sheets
robo duplicates under their control.
Right. They're trying to
and Zan doesn't want that to happen. So he goes to Blaze and explains what's happening. So that's pretty much the premise of the English like they're gonna destroy X and fucking Dam's work.
Like the way they were doing it.
It's dumb.
They're sitting there they're going to put bombs all around the city. to distract the police, and they're going to use these super robots to take the place of all of our official government officials and whatnot. They're going to start taking over all the higher up stats and whatnot, taking place so they can have better control of the city without having, I think they even, so pretty much at one point they even made an Axel and Blaze robot as well.
So pretty much the first, so before the first one happened, he just wants to go back to doing that again.
Yeah, I mean, he essentially just wants his power back.
Yeah, so the first and second one again.
Yeah, we're right back at Mr. X. He is like, fuck you, pal. I'm doing this. That's pretty much the reason that gets you into Streets of Rage 3. Turning Streets of Rage 3 on, I mean, immediately the music doesn't feel the same. The character select screen's okay, but Axel's got a yellow shirt on for some reason. That always threw me off. Like, I never wanted to play with Axel in Part 3 because he had a yellow shirt. So I would always essentially end up picking like Blaze or Skate just to kind of get me through until we could get my favorite character in the whole fucking series. Rue. Rue's my favorite character in the whole fucking series. He's like the coolest thing ever.
You didn't want to play Dr. Zan or anything?
Nah, man, fuck him in his arms. Fucking skinny Jax.
What about Shiva?
You wouldn't want
Jax. Did you know how to unlock Shiva?
It was okay. Did I know how or did I do it? I didn't know how I did the shit.
But you did it.
But I did it. And I mean, of course, today I know how. You whoop Shiva's ass, you hold down the B button, you can unlock Shiva. Mm-hmm. Game, set, match, ready, go. Let's play. But the kangaroo was always my favorite to get because he was being controlled by that fuck-ass clown. And you whoop that sorry-ass clown's ass, and the kangaroo was like, all right, bro, I got you from here on out. You my homie. I mean, any game that has a kangaroo I can play with I'm in. Because they kick the shit out of people.
Do we ever go over the Japanese version?
No.
We were getting there.
We're getting there.
We were getting there. I was getting ready to ask you if you've played at all, if you remember anything from it.
Not really. Like I said, I played it a long time ago, and I played it quote unquote recently at the flea market. But Streets 2, yes. 3, yeah.
Streets 3 came with a lot. Besides the unlockable characters, there was a lot of differences to the stages and stuff. I mean, it was a lot more chaotic and a much harder game to beat in the first place. I personally, I don't think I've ever by myself beat Streets of Rage 3. I need to go ahead and find it and buy it again.
To be honest, that should be the way of a video game. That should always get more difficult. From the first one, a toddler could probably slide everybody. You were 6.
Hey, bro. See, I was 6, right? But what you forgetting is I've always been fucking hardcore. Remember, I was raised on Street Fighter. I was raised on Street Fighter and Mega Man. Zelda, fucking Metroid. You ever played Metroid?
No.
Yes.
Yes, I have. It's almost as bad as Mega Man. Except you can save.
So pretty much
Kurt Cobain did not play Metroid.
He should have.
He should have.
We still have him. We wouldn't have the Foo Fighters today, but we still have Kurt Cobain. If he had played fucking...
For people who don't know... No, we're not going to do that. No.
Kurt Cobain played Mega Man.
The night
before he ate that shotgun.
Like everybody says it was the white lighter and the bad luck, it was Mega Man.
It was Mega Man.
Nobody checked the Super Nintendo that day for some reason.
Was it just Mega Man or was it a specific Mega Man?
No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It does not fucking matter. Mega Man gets no easier, no harder. It's kill yourself.
That kind of shows.
As per our canon, Kurt Cobain killed himself over Mega Man.
Anyway.
Kind of getting back to this. Getting back.
We do not condone any of this.
Yeah, we do not condone suicide.
No.
Disclaimer.
I don't condone it, and I will warn you of Mega Man.
Do not play Mega Man
by yourself.
Continue on to the fun, happy things of Streets of Rage.
Fun and happy of Rage.
Oh my god.
That should show you that even in those 4 years, that how big or how great they've gotten. How they could just they can identify certain characters. They could slow down. I'm guessing you're fighting. Have they? Did it actually slow down, or did it speed up, or anything?
I think it was extremely the same. I think what they really spent a lot of development in was your stages and all the little doodads that you could do in the game.
Well, at that time, they knew what they wanted to do.
One of the times in the stages, from the earlier games, you would always have the backgrounds. Backgrounds were always really nice. And one of the stages in Streets of Rage 1 was people, like you got the people on the motorcycles coming at your ass again. You got the Y signal and the
Galasia, Dominic Toretto's.
You got all those guys coming up, and then you got motherfuckers getting dropped off on a hoverboat right next to you on the bridge. I mean, you had all kinds of cool little things. There's even a stage where you're getting chased down by a bulldozer, and the only way to get away from it is to one, punch the bulldozer to slide it backwards and break these concrete walls that are in front of you. Kind of like a Street Fighter mini game. If you guys ever, again, play Street Fighter 2, there's a couple mini games in those in between stages, the bonus rounds. You get to beat the car up. I know you got everybody and their mom has seen the car get its ass whooped. God. And then there's like the barrel.
Well, it's not fighting back, so it should get its ass whooped.
You whoop that car's ass. But then there's like the barrel stages where they're dropping barrels on your head. In that same game, Streets of Rage 3, there's a stage where they're dropping barrels on your head.
I want to see a cutscene in the new Street Fighter game where somebody walks up to a broken car after Ken and Ryu beat it up. And it's, my car!
Shouldn't have parked. Parallel parking?
What the hell is wrong
It's not
with
allowed
here. Hey, I knew it wouldn't say shit. The Ken and Ryu, never mind.
Hey, no, Ken's going to be, I'm sorry, and Ryu's going to be, the answer lies within the heart of battle.
We'll see. What you don't know about Ken Masters is Ken Masters will break your car and then leave you a briefcase of money in your trunk.
What car? In what car? The car's gone.
Hey, look, the frame is still there.
He can still see the green money, so it's okay.
Like, don't worry about it. Go buy a new one. Shut the fuck up. I'll buy you and your mama. You say something else. Yeah, Ken Masters is that kind of rich, but we'll get to that another day as well.
Don't remind me.
But with Streets of Rage 3, there was a lot of new little changes and a few bigger changes. They actually added a branching story as well. There's supposedly some people that get kidnapped. If you rescue the victim, you'll end up fighting at the White House, or as they call it, City Hall. It's the fucking White House.
Yeah.
It's the fucking White House. And if you don't, you end up at a different stage doing some other shit. I don't exactly remember all the details of it exactly, but I mean, it's a bit of a branch of a storyline where you can take a different path or so before you get to the final boss.
Is there any kind of different endings, just like the first one, or is it just kind of the same?
To my understanding, the endings are the same, no matter what you do, except for, again, that branching line. Actually, I think one of the endings is different if you do rescue the victim. If you do rescue the hostage, I think one of the endings slightly changes, but not by a lot. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, this is the final fight with Mr. X, as Steve already spoiled for everybody.
A game that came out how long ago?
20 million years ago.
You spoiled it. Spoiled it.
Listen, spoilers for Donkey Kong. Mario makes it to the top. Sorry to break it to you.
And it's not Peach up there.
How do you spoil Tetris? Give me a second.
Well, it was made in Russia.
Shut the fuck up.
100 years ago. Now, anyway.
1,000 years ago.
5,000 years ago when Chinese martial arts first started.
There was a Russian man.
Oh, God.
Who couldn't get a beat taken out of his head. But anyway.
Oh, my God.
But, yeah, so like that was probably the fun with Streets of Rage 3 was like the unlockable characters, the cool little stages you got to go through.
Yeah.
And then, of course, finally finishing that fucking fight with Mr. X. And this is where you finally do finish his ass off. Because at the end of the day, when you finally get to deal with him, he has some robots to whoop your ass. But that sumbitch is a brain in a jar hooked up to some computers. I mean, that's all that's left of that sorry bastard. And he still wants his revenge.
Still wants the city.
Like, bro, just go be a techno virus and shut the fuck up. Like, why are you over here messing with people? But that is Streets of Rage 3 pretty much in a nutshell. I think the next one we're going to end up getting to is probably going to be Streets of Rage 4.
What do you mean probably? There's nothing else.
Well, there actually is a couple little things.
Well, if you want to go on a little tangent about...
I just might talk about...
some time.
I might just talk about a little bit of, some other Streets of Rage projects that we got before Streets of Rage was Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah. Anyway, we were talking about spinoffs and whatnot with Streets of Rage.
Spin-offs and whatnot were Streets of Rage. I only know of 2, and I only have experience with 1.
Were they games, or were they
absolute games?
Okay.
So, to my understanding, we've been trying to get the license for Streets of Rage 4 for ever, since 2000 at least.
At that time.
Yeah. We've been trying to get that to happen, and they've essentially made 2 games that had the licensing for Streets of Rage 4, but they ended up turning into 2 completely different games. Mm-hmm. One of them was called Crackdown. I've never played Crackdown. It looked like shit to me back in the day. I never really cared to touch it. I hear it's pretty cool, though. If anybody knows, please feel free to say something in the comments and, tell me to fuck you back, friend. Anyway, the other one is called Fighting Force. Now, Fighting Force is the fucking super shit. Fighting Force, I had it first on the N64. It was a 4-player beat-em-up game where essentially you start off in the streets and you can beat up cars and people and robots and all kinds of stuff. You get one of 4 characters, obviously, you can run through with. With this particular game, say you run up into a cop car and beat the trunk wide open, there's normally a machine gun, a pistol, a bazooka, something like that hanging out back there for you. A lot of the game is based on hand-to-hand combat, but it turns out people use weapons in these games, guns and stuff like that. So you can always snatch a gun off somebody and blast their ass to oblivion. Fighting Force features a couple female characters, a really big hulking dude, and like another guy who can just throw hands. I don't remember anybody's name. It's been a long time since I've actually played it. I'm actually going to try to convince my 2 podcast mates to check the shit out later. But that game itself was supposed to be our original Streets of Rage 4. The only thing that's really different about it, again, is the character models, the guns, and the fact that it's not Streets of Rage 4.
Because you didn't have Axel Stone.
You didn't have any of them in it. I think it was going to be like a whole new IP for the Streets of Rage, like the next generation of assholes to whoop up on people in the streets.
Nah, but you can't do that without
the OGs. I mean, really. So, but Fighting Force was really good for what it was. It was actually really, really good. Probably one of my favorite beat-em-ups. That besides Super Double Dragon and Battletoads versus Double Dragon, and of course the Streets of Rage series. Mm-hmm. But essentially, that leads us blank without very many beat-em-ups until we get to 2020.
It was 2020.
It was 2020.
Yeah. Streets of Rage 4. Oh fucking boy! Streets of Rage 4. What was it? Because I picked it up. And y'all come over and played it. Mm-hmm. And I played it on, it was on PlayStation because it was on, what was it? PS Now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on PS Now. But we had a lot of fun with that. And you had to teach us kind of to back up from characters and everything to play Streets. Because that's where we learned how to play Streets of Rage. And you also had the juggle system now.
Yeah.
And so much smoother, and the fucking shit. Just the main menu music I could sit there and listen to for hours. Seriously, yeah, man, come on. The character select sound like a dance party as soon as you get into it.
That bitch is like a smooth jazz synth fucking symphony.
If you don't know what we're talking about, do yourself a favor and look up the soundtrack for Streets of Rage 4.
Or just buy the damn game.
Or just buy Streets of Rage 4.
Really, just buy the game. Because, every stage is packed full of good music, good color.
And you don't need to play the older games for that. That's another thing I like about the series. It's like you can jump in anywhere you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. That is one of those things.
I still feel like you should play at least the first and second one.
You don't
I think you should at least have some experience with those games. You don't have to before you play Part 4, but after you play Part 4, I think it would do anybody some good to just touch those games and see exactly what differences were made, really where you came from in that regard.
Well, that was what a really cool thing, like I think I was saying earlier, was the more you play through the game, even besides the story, was you earn points on how well you do, and you can go to milestones and you earn characters. You earn Adam from Streets 1, you earn Axel from Streets 1, all the way through Streets 3. And I think the final character you unlock is Rue.
Yep.
Because he's not playable. The Streets of Rage 4 version of Rue, he shows up as an Easter egg, but he isn't playable.
Right.
The only way you can play him is through unlocking the retro version.
Right.
That would be a murder in the fourth one.
Along with Dr. Zan and all that, I think they pretty much give you all the old characters except for like the rehash of Skate from Part 3 and Axel from Part 3.
Yeah, and Ash isn't there neither.
Ash does not show up, which it's kind of unfortunate because they got Ash was somebody they put in Part 3. We kind of neglected to really talk about him. He's a good character, but he's extremely gay. If anybody knows anything about Final Fight, you had Poison. And just imagine Poison with a mustache. There you go.
But no, Streets 4 was really fucking fun, man. Like, Like I was saying earlier, was basically all the games are the same, at least starting. You know, you start out in the streets, and just like, because in 4, you don't have Adam Hunter until you get to a certain part of the game. You have to be a stealth. I think it is. Mm-hmm. Which that fucking bitch right there. Mm-hmm. Once you can play as her, I mean, like, you won't. Your combo counter don't go up as quick with her, but you'll be clearing out fucking rooms with that bitch.
Yeah, that damn tackle.
The tackle and the overhead kick. Ooh. That overhead kick, man. The second one,
you guys
are literally missing the biggest point. She has the upgraded version of the bazooka, police bazooka. But she fucking drops multiple.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she dropped the bombs.
One thing I really liked about y'all was saying the backgrounds and everything. One thing I really like about Streets 4 is it looks like it's hand drawn instead of being pixels.
Well, see, that's the thing is they were forced to use pixels in the older games, and with this one they were allowed to get that, as they called it, the manga style of artwork. And I mean, it just makes it flow so much more beautifully.
It's awesome.
It's such a beautiful game. I mean, like, they don't really make awesome 2D games anymore. Like, I mean, in my opinion, I'm sure somebody's going to say, well, what about this or this? And I'm going to say, fuck off. Because I mean, this game is beautiful. I mean, from the music, and I hate being the guy who listens to the music in a game, but dude, I'd probably download that whole album. And just, I knew one of us would have. I knew one of us, because it sounds great. I mean, you could just let that just play like some smooth synth jazz chaos music.
Like, Crush, like what is it about like the music track that, like, all right, makes you take attention to this one and not like Street Fighter or something?
Well, Street Fighter, I still remember some of the music with Street Fighter, like Guile's theme stage and stuff. I used to get stuck on Guile. And
so it makes you reminded.
That's kind of what that really
Flashback
is.
to Raditz, Legend of the Super Saiyan.
Like, turning on Streets of Rage 4, when Matt first turned it on in front of us, like, a lot of times when MattMatt gets a new game, I act like I don't give a shit. But as soon as he cut that on, I could taste the music and was like, oh,
whoa.
Well, I guess,
wait a minute.
I guess it just brought back nostalgia. I mean, really, like, you could tell somebody the French team that created this, you could tell they really, really loved the original Streets of Rage games.
It's basically a love letter.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. At the end of the day, it is a love letter. It's a continuation of the story, and not very often do you get a new team working on stuff and they make that many improvements. They normally fuck it all up. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, look at Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront. Oh, yeah. There we go. Now,
hold on.
That's fucking EA, man. That's what that
exactly.
That is.
The original Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 were the super shit. But then you let EA get a new team working on it. You don't often get those kind of beautiful results when a new team takes over something. Mm-hmm. With Streets of Rage 4, to really answer your question, it's just nostalgia. It really is just nostalgia.
Well, that's the funny thing.
Nostalgia sells anytime.
Oh, most of the time.
Well, that was the funny thing is, like, you played it for some nostalgia, right? Yeah. That's why you love it so much.
Oh, yeah.
I played it because, you know, I've heard of Streets of Rage before. Right. But, like, playing that's one of the games that, like, I just pop in from time to time just to play. Yeah. You know, it's just a lot of fun. I don't pop it in anymore. I fucking got rid of it like a dumbass. But that's...
Did you?
Yeah.
We got rid of Part 4?
Yeah.
Off your Switch?
Yep.
Why?
Well, I bought
Xenoverse.
No, I bought Shredder's Revenge. That's why I got rid of it. Because no one played it with me anymore.
So he bought another beat 'em up that no one's going to play with him anymore.
I played Shredder's Revenge. That shit's fun.
That no one's going to play with him anymore.
I played it with myself. I don't give a fuck.
There's online, so he can play it with people.
He could have done that shit with Streets of Rage also. But
it's not as fun.
Besides all that, we've gone a little far. What brings us to Streets of Rage 4, Steve? Liquid Gold.
You talking about story?
Story.
I can give you story.
What kicks us along on Streets of Rage 4? Well, shit, if Matt's got... Who's got it? Who's got the book to read? Who's got it?
Let Matt do this, but all I know is it's in 10 years past the third one.
Right.
It's 10 years past the third one.
It's 10 years past the Japanese version of Streets of Rage 3. They didn't... That's the quote-unquote canon instead of the English version, which is really weird. Because, well, it's not really weird. It's more of them showing you that they knew that the English version wasn't worth a fuck, and they kind of pulled from that. But like you said, it was 10 years. Mr. X is gone, but the Y twins, Mr. X's children, have taken over.
Mr. and Mrs. Y.
They're
they are excruciatingly vicious.
Oh my God.
Like the way they took over, like when you play Streets of Rage Part 4, once you get to that first boss, Diva, the chick with the electric eel.
Hold on.
Once you get to her, it's like when we first played through Streets of Rage, somebody kept skipping the fucking cutscenes. But that's okay, I've caught up now at this point. She tells you straight up, she's like, yo, these little bastards right here, too much. Way too much. Yeah. Look, you gonna need some help. You need to go holler at my man in Kung Fu Town. He got you. He got you, bro. But you a little too late, and that's when you catch the arrestment. Everybody arrests you. They that's Streets of Rage Part 4. You start off in the street, go to the bar, end up in jail. And you fight your way through the precinct, and I love that fucking stage. That stage, you get to see the police, because everybody's corrupt in town. You get to see the police beating the utter dog shit out of the criminals. And I mean, they're sitting there like 4 guys holding the guy down while they're just stomping the shit out of him.
Using a taser.
And I mean, you could just walk past them like ain't shit going on.
Hell no.
But we've tried.
But then again,
work.
Once you walk past them, you got the rest of the police guards start showing up. The cages open up for the prison cells. And I mean, all hell just breaks loose inside that place. And I mean, that's what leads you to the police chief.
Yeah.
That's what leads you to the police chief on this one.
I just want to say something before we get
a
little too far. Yes. Omni-Man's cousin.
He does look like Omni-Man.
Omni-Man.
Right.
Think, Mark.
Shut up, man.
Think, Blaze. All right. I feel like, remember the first time we played against Diva, and it was like, oh, this shit's kind of hard.
Yeah.
The third time,
don't even touch the ground.
We finally figured out how to juggle in that one, and I mean, like, you could juggle in the other one's a little TT. But this
it wouldn't allow you to keep them up.
This one, man, what was it? We had like a stupid high, like 400 hit combo or something on her. It was fun. Like, she was dead, but they was letting us whoop her ass still.
She was just doing this.
We was just beating on a ragdoll, but I mean, it was ridiculous.
But in this one, before the DLC came out, it was just Axel, Blaze,
Floyd,
which is Cherry. Dr. Zan's apprentice,
right? Yes,
and then Cherry, who is Cherry.
And
Cherry's the
Cherry
shit.
Hunter.
And I wanted to bring this up too.
Adam's daughter, Cherry Hunter.
You were talking about how people were too far away from him. Floyd got that special move where he's like, it's kind of like a Jack's gotcha grab.
It's kind of like a brawly. When he come grab you by the head, come here. Let me bring me that. Bring me that.
That's kind of cool how Floyd can grab 2 people and smash them together. I remember seeing that.
That's dope.
Because he's got Jack's arms.
He don't give a shit about you.
But no, like, you also, if you go through the story enough, you go and fight Estelle, and after that fight, Adam becomes unlocked. Because I was playing Axel when I first played the game, but as I went through and then I unlocked Adam, they gave me Adam Hunter?
Oh, yeah.
That was a fucking rat.
Well, see, that's one of the beautiful things that I really, really like about Streets of Rage 2 and 4. Again, I don't really remember that much about 3, but the stages tell you the story.
Yeah.
Like, in Part 2, you didn't have the cutscenes, but in Part 4, they give you the cutscenes along with the stages that tell you the story. Like, if y'all remember, we were fighting the electric chick with the electric whip, Electra. Electric chick with the electric whip.
Well,
Electra.
That's Diva.
We were fighting. No, Diva was the one
with the eel.
With short
with the
red
snake.
hair. Short red hair with the eel, the electric.
I thought
eel.
it was a snake.
I thought
a snake,
an eel. Yeah, you're right. It's not a whip.
That doesn't really matter.
Right.
What the fuck? She had some kind of electric reptile on her arms. But Electra has the she's the chick in the
ship.
On the ship, but she's wearing what's the word I'm looking for? The lingerie. The light blue lingerie. The blonde.
No, she was red.
She was. Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. How about that, pal?
She whipped Gillespie,
and she turns them Super Saiyan. But like it again, because we kept skipping the cutscenes. Once we whoop her ass, she crashes the ship into a fucking into a pier. Which, if y'all remember, we ended up fighting on the pier where they have all those explosions at first. Storytelling. It's telling. That's us going from the street to the bar to the precinct to the sewers to the ship to the damn what do you call that thing? To the pier. There we go, the pier, and then moving on.
It was Chinatown,
and then moving on to Chinatown.
Yeah,
and moving on to Chinatown, the person that we've been looking for this whole time, motherfucking Shiva.
Oh yeah,
motherfucking Shiva. And like, look here, I didn't play with Shiva much in the third one, but in this fourth one, I dropped cherry. I straight dropped cherry. I was like, I ain't worried about her no more.
Yeah, because no, Shiva came out as DLC.
Yeah,
because they added Max Thunder, they added Estelle, and
right.
They put Estelle on the fucking team.
They shouldn't have put Estelle on the team, bro.
Estelle was out fucking rageous.
Estelle's really dope too, because I think after we fight, what do you call it? Who's the boss on the bridge?
On the bridge,
yeah, on the pier. After we crash the ship, who do we fight next? After Elektra.
Oh man,
because who the fuck did we fight? I remember they kicked our, because we got to go through like the restaurant, and you got to fight the butcher and shit like that. I forget who we fight next, but I mean that essentially leads us to getting to Shiva, and then Shiva snitches. He straight tells what's going on. Mm-hmm. He's like, look, these fucking X and Y twins, these motherfuckers, I don't like them. You want to whoop their ass? Look, bro, they hiding in plain sight. And he points us to the direction of their giant corporation. It's a big building shaped like a Y. I mean, you would think we'd have found that shit already.
Right?
Where can we find the Y twins? I don't know, bro. How about the big Y?
Well, after the pier, the pier, Estelle is the boss. Right?
On the pier. Estelle's the boss.
And then after that, we have the underground, and then it's through the restaurant, we fight Barbin.
There we are.
It was bartender.
Yeah,
fuck yeah, I remember Barbin.
The bartender from the second one. The bartender from the second one. He beat your ass next to the motorcycles. He ain't got...
it was the ladies. It was the headbutting ladies.
And his little his little chunky girl.
And shit.
Honey and sugar and biscuit, all them motherfuckers.
No, it was honey, sugar, and damn, it was one more.
Bro, there was like 8 of them. There was 8 of them we had to fight in there.
Yeah, it was horrible.
They were kicking our asses.
And that was before Steven had power slide. So the joke about power slide.
Hold on, I didn't know how to use Floyd. I feel like if I played Floyd now, even though I would pick Max Thunder over Floyd.
Oh my god!
I think I could slide with Floyd.
Power slide.
No, but the joke comes from when the DLC came out. Mr. X Nightmare came out. They gave you Max Thunder, Estelle, and Shiva. So Liquid Gold chose Max Thunder, and his standard issue Blitz attack. If you don't change it by playing through the Nightmare DLC and blah 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 blah, later on we'll say something about that.
Survival.
It's power slide. It's the power slide he was talking about, and every time he does it, without fail, he says power slide. Steve was doing this shit so much that the voice line wouldn't even finish.
Power,
like straight up. And I'm not even fucking playing when I say that.
Oh yeah.
That's straight up.
Like when we would play, so like in Streets of Rage 4, once you beat a mission, they kind of tally up all your shit. You know, all the ass whoopings you gave, all the points you've acquired. And Liquid Gold would always have, like, by far, like 2,000 more points than us. And they'd be like, bro, how'd you do that? But you died 3 times. It's because of the power slide.
Power slide.
He's killing 10 people at a time. Power slide.
He might not be the fastest. He might not be, well, that's pretty much the fastest. He's the strongest and the most durable motherfucker right that bitch.
That's why he dies all the time. But,
No, he's got a trash person that plays him.
Liquid Gold Steve.
Liquid Trash Gold.
No, you can talk about his power slide, but his electric thunder bomb.
Oh, yeah.
He gets electrokinesis that added on to that. Like, he fucking drops that shit, and then they hit him with a lightning strike. Like,
well, why you do that?
That's
another thing that was cool about Streets of Rage 4 that they added later on, sadly, as DLC, was you could unlock more moves with each character.
Well,
even the retro
I gotta ask a question, though, you guys. Would you rather have Max Thunder on the team or fight Max Thunder in the arena?
We have fought Max Thunder in the arena.
I didn't mind whooping his ass.
And Adam handled him, but like at the same time, Max wasn't playing that fucking shit.
Hey, did anybody catch in the story when Adam showed up after he whooped Estelle's ass? Because I mean, in canon, apparently he whooped Estelle's ass solo, and then we went on about our day. He caught up to us, blah blah blah, fucking blah. Anybody catch that Estelle was flirting with my boy?
100%.
After that ass whooping?
100%.
She was like all about some Adam Hunter.
100%.
Well, it's kind of like when a man whooped my ass, I'm gonna fucking get raptured.
She was like, all right. I mean, Estelle's got big arms like Hercules, but Adam Hunter.
Adam Hunter.
You know?
Adam
Original
Hunter.
character. You ain't winning. My dude jumped out of a helicopter and put a crater in the ground. You ain't winning that fight, sweetheart. I'm sorry. It just ain't happening.
I ain't getting kidnapped again.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time, many years ago.
Ain't nobody kidnapped me again. But I kind of wish, I don't know when we first turned it on and I saw Mr. Big Arms. What's his damn name?
Floyd.
I swore up and down that was Skate. I was like, oh my God, it's a Skate. Oh my God, it's a Skate.
Skate got big.
Did Skate get really big? What the fuck? I'm over here going nuts. And then like I touched on Cherry and I was like, well, who does Cherry belong to?
Uh-huh.
Like, is it Skate's daughter or is it Adam's daughter? Turns out Skate don't even show up in that game. Not even like a cameo.
No. He's the retro character.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying like
Streets
he himself
4 Skate
doesn't show up at all. Which I'm kind of disappointed about because I'd like to know what they could have done with him this time around. You know? But Cherry with the rock and roll guitar, I mean, she just be beating motherfuckers' ass with that guitar. It don't make no sense. I don't know how she don't break it. But
to be honest,
who was your character, Matt, at the end of the day? Once we're at Streets 4, when we have everybody unlocked and all the stuff, who was your go-to?
Fucking Adam Hunter. Not even like, okay, Adam Hunter with the what was it? Because he could do his jump neutral attack was the splits.
That split kick.
Oh man. Woo! Woo!
Sound like somebody said Ric Flair.
Woo! Oh my God, not today. But for real though, like Streets of Rage 4 by itself is a phenomenal fucking game. Like, just if you can get your hands on it, get the special edition, anniversary, whatever the fuck they call it.
Max it out.
Get everything, and just like that right there. Maxing out every character, unlocking every character, going through the wave mode, the boss rush, the everything. That fucking there is well worth your money.
You know that didn't come until after the DLC, right?
Who?
The survival and everything.
Yeah,
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's why
go ahead and just
get the max pack,
yeah.
get the full pack of it, so you can have everything.
Don't go to the Stop That Games, okay? Besides that, you probably want to buy it digitally because, like, fuck that place.
What's Stop Game, man? I didn't know it.
The store that stopped us from gaming because they cheat us on our fucking trade-ins and shit.
Oh, so they give a used condom and a damn
and a hug,
and a happy day.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I'm turning in a whole console. I'll give you 13 cents.
I'll give you 13. and then I just work here. Fuck you.
Like, bro, you know that's a bad deal. Tell me to walk away.
That's why they say it is work here.
I've had people tell me to go to local game stores at the Stop That Games. Straight up.
They suck, dude. When it came to me, though, playing between my characters and all, this is the only game I actually could not pick one character.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't just pick one person. I didn't even touch Axel. I didn't touch Adam. I played with Blaze a little bit.
You weren't touching Adam.
Blaze is pretty fresh in that game. She's pretty damn dope.
Yeah, because she can use ninjutsu.
She can use a lot. Now, once we get past your original characters and all, Cherry, Shiva, and Rue, those are my people. Those are my people all day and tomorrow. Like, I'll play with them all day. Like,
Shiva has shadow clones.
Shiva has shadow clones. Shiva has crescent kicks. Shiva can float in the air and do a combo for 30 minutes.
He can kick a damn knife out there.
Shiva he kicks knives.
Yeah, because he doesn't use
he can't
weapons.
pick up weapons.
He just throws them.
He just kicks the shit out of them at you. You're good. But Shiva's amazing. But then, of course, you got Rue. And Rue with that constant, that was the Gatling kick, where he like stands on his tail and just kicks you across the fucking screen. It's one of the coolest things ever, man. That game itself is pretty boss. The X and Y twins, or the Y twins.
The Y twins.
What did y'all think of the Y twins as our villains?
Oh, are you talking about like story wise or the boss fight?
Just as our villains in general.
I think it was something so they wouldn't have to put Mr. X in it again.
You think so?
I think so. Because it was like,
well,
okay, we don't have Mr. X.
He's kind of dead.
We don't have Mr. Well, yeah, well, no shit.
Sure.
Well, no, because he's still in his jar as per the Mr. X's nightmare. He's still around through that.
I forgot about the damn nightmare.
But the Y twins, like, it was basically them being like, okay, Mr. X is gone. Not really, but he's gone. So we're just going to give you these two bullshit twins who one has a gun and one has a sword, and you're not hitting either of them.
I mean, I don't think they were bullshit. I think they were a great challenge. Because if you ever fought Mr. X proper, he sucked. Yeah. He sucked. Yeah. I mean, besides his machine gun, Mr. X sucked. You just whoop his ass all across the screen.
So what you're saying is he's a regular, like, mafia boss.
No, not regular, because he punched the shit out you with a gun. Yes, punch you with the gun.
Hit you with the whole stock and everything.
He will fucking smash you with that gun.
I'll show you why they call this the streets of rage.
But like, as a boss fight, he wasn't shit. The twins, on the other hand, I disagree with you about them being just kind of tossed in there.
Like, I'm not saying they're tossed in there, I feel
like as story goes, they were, I mean, awesome. Great fucking villains. They essentially tried to pay you to quit bullshitting. You know, they even tried peacefully on your stupid ass, but, you know, we jump out of windows around here.
Yeah.
We jump out of windows around these parts. But, and as far as fighting them, God, were they ridiculous. Especially Miss Y. Mrs. Y?
Yeah.
With the rapier?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Like him, he wasn't so bad.
Well, he had the big robot.
Right. I'd kick his ass all day too, but her, pew, pew, pew,
because she would like hit you like fucking
halfway across the room with that shit.
Oh, silver cherry.
She would pull that shit way back, and then fucking it was kind of like Max Thunder's damn Thunder Tackle. I just kind of like went through.
She was mean.
or even Cherry's fucking
that punch
burning
knuckle she had. She got that from Terry Bogard. Just saying.
But.
Just saying.
How she would hit you with the damn it was like this. It would fucking like half the fucking screen. You'd be done. You'd be done for. I mean, it'd be like half your life.
And it took a lot of life off of you too. I liked fighting them a lot when we got out of story mode and went over into survival.
Oh yeah, when they were regular characters.
Survival was the shit.
Yeah.
Survival.
Yeah.
Like honestly, playing through Streets of Rage, the story is super fun. And I mean, I didn't need much more than that. Mm-hmm. But then they gave you the other shit.
Well, that was another thing that was really... Okay, let's get on Mr. X's Nightmare, and then we'll start to wrap this up. So Mr. X's Nightmare is their kind of wave type thing, like rounds. Mm-hmm. But at the end of each round, now mind you, if you're playing it with a buddy, you're going to have to figure this shit out because they give you power-ups at the end of each wave. Mm-hmm. You can add poison, fire, or electricity to your heavies or your blitz, respectively, separately. Or you can do it straight to just your attacks. You can there's a power-up where it's called Bloodlust. You instead of using healing items, you heal through beating up people through your combos.
Vampire fists.
That one is good. If you're good, if you suck, don't ever pick it up. Yeah. Pick up the golden pipe.
Yep. The golden pipe.
Get the golden pipe.
Get the golden pipe. Oh God, no! I fucked up.
That thing does not like to break. But they added a shit ton in the little survival mode. Is it survival or Mr. X's?
Well, it's survival. It's
called Mr. X's.
Yeah, but it's a survival mode. But what was another thing is like they brought back old
bosses.
They brought back old bosses. They brought back old stages when you would go to different because like it would you have to step through a portal every I think it's 5 stages. You face a boss and then you move on and then like you got the old rooftops, you got the old streets, and like it's not really like the story where you go through the whole area. It's one little sandbox area.
Right. You're in a small space that represents an old stage that you were in.
Right.
And I mean, hell, they toss weird bosses in those fights in those old stages. What's the stage where like the asteroids or some shit come down and crush you?
Like the volcano?
Is it volcanoes or asteroids?
Yeah, it's a volcano.
Volcanoes that come
because
up.
like it's got the lava popping up.
That's
like
what
it's really fucking cool. It's like this game's got a lot of meat on the bone.
It really does.
It's like we could go on and on.
I haven't like via this with my boys here. I actually haven't unlocked all of any one character's complete moveset because again I can't pick between my 3.
Yeah,
and sometimes 4 if I choose Blaze.
You really didn't play Blaze though. You played.
If I didn't.
Man, you played Cherry most of the time.
Cherry took it the 90% of the time. Cherry took it, but I didn't get that much time with Shiva or Rue.
Yeah, you really didn't get Rue or Shiva.
But I mean, when I did play with them, though, what was that? I don't remember what it was. Shiva has some attack with like a flying elbow drop. Oh, that's
you didn't like the 3 clones that he did?
Oh hell yeah, I love the shadow clones. He had the shadow clone. He had the substitution jutsu. I mean, Shiva was
out fucking rageous.
Yeah, they didn't.
Well, that's the thing.
A 40-year-old man shouldn't be whooping ass like that.
Streets of Rage is one of those games I can honestly say that after you beat a boss character and they give you the character to play as, it's not shit. Because, like, there's a bunch of games out there that, you know, you grinded all this time just to beat that boss and unlock him as a playable character, and they're just not anything good. This one,
oh yeah,
they give you the character that you fight.
And then some.
Mm-hmm.
And like, then some.
And then quote unquote make that shit balanced, which what they do is balance the odds in your fucking favor.
I mean, they do. But
thanks for your $8. Here's a pass to go beat the game easily.
Oh yeah, like I love how there's also like easy mode, hard mode, vicious mode, and stop. I love this just fucking stop mode because like they jump you so quickly. There's like not much you can do. You have to be really good. To
another thing that they did, which they kind of did it in the older games, but not as much, was the special moves, right? Because you had your normal fighting, or you had your normal attacks, you had your heavy attacks, but then you had your specials, right? Your neutral.
Right.
Which was a defensive move, and then you had your side specials, your up specials, all that shit, almost like Smash Bros. Where it would decrease your health, but the way it would do it in old games was it straight decreased your health, and that was it, right? But you could beat somebody and bring it back.
In the fourth one.
No. In the second one. I did this shit today. I did this shit today.
Do not believe you.
I don't believe you either.
Do not think
but in the fourth one, it would do it so that it would, instead of reducing your health, it does like a green bar, almost like substituting your health. And if you get hit, you lose that health. But if you can beat up people fast enough, you'll get that health back.
Why do you think I did the power slide?
The power slide over and over again. Because he didn't lose health with it.
He had all kind of health at the end of it. I mean, if he wasn't getting his ass cut.
I can't talk shit. I got that rolling move with skate, and I was just juggling people.
Yeah.
Like, it was out fucking rageous.
Like, at one point, it was power slide, then it was skate doing the rolling, like, twister move, and then it was fucking Cherry with that punch. We had the shit set up so good, we were juggling, like, 15 people at the same time. Like, they'd be motherfuckers.
500 hit combos.
This motherfucker's dead inside the pile of people.
They would literally...
piling dead
they would literally
come to
that little part, and they would just be thrown up in the air because they would get hit with the damn power slide.
Like those awesome times where we beat them from the east to the west.
Hold on. Adonis the Chiseled might fucking say something.
Bro, he ain't the first person in the whole world to ever say that shit. Fuck him too. Anyway,
I think we're kind of droning on about this.
I mean, we're almost tapped on some Streets of Rage 4. That's for sure. The only game Streets of Rage wise that even comes close to Streets of Rage 4, and not a lot of people own this, I should say, because you couldn't buy it. It was the Streets of Rage remake. The Streets of Rage remake added everything that we got in Part 4, plus I think it was a roster of 12 playable characters, Mr. X being one of them.
That cheating?
Shit, no. That game itself was like a love letter to Streets of Rage. That was one of the ones that Sega actually asked them to quit making. And they were doing that right around the time Streets of Rage Part 4 was in production. Like, they had these people on their own fan-made Streets of Rage remake. They spent 8 years of their lives making this game, and then, like, they got something over 1 million downloads in, like, less than a year on a game they didn't advertise. And it's because people needed Streets of Rage. Sega saw how much people were really needing Streets of Rage, and they finally gave us what we asked for.
Sega didn't actually drop Streets of Rage 4.
Well, no, their name is on the.
Are you telling me Sega didn't drop their own IP on us?
Well, what I've seen,
they weren't the ones who created it, but they produced it. In this case, that's their title. It's a Sega title.
It was released by Datamu.
Right, that's the company that made it. But it's a Sega game.
Title.
It's a Sega game. Sega has to give permission for that game to be created, for us to be playing Streets of Rage 4 and even having this podcast. I mean, you can sit home all you want.
Any fucking way.
Anywho.
I think that's all the time we have for this today. Any closing thoughts about Streets of Rage?
Power slide.
I thought so. Anyway, y'all have a good night. I'm MattMatt. I'm joined by Kadawfi Crush and Liquid Gold Steve. That's all, folks.
Like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget, holla at us. See you later.